Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the FearFans podcast. I'm your host, Don Elme. With me is Kate, and we should have we should have several others joining us soon. And so, good to be back. We've
Yeah.
taken a break from we've taken a little break from the podcast too because every the past couple of few Tuesdays were holidays, so yeah, there's no way I was going to have everybody come on here on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve when we should be enjoying the holidays. But so now, here, hey Joanne. Oh, below 40
Oh,
below in Canada. Oh man,
wow.
well, hey, hope you're staying warm.
Yeah, keep
Yeah, because I
warm,
hear
Joanne.
Canada gets pretty brutal this time of year. Hey, how's it going, Jeremy?
Hi, Jeremy.
Good, yeah. So we're covering tonight. We are covering something that many of us have loved. Watching over the past year. Like I saw this movie twice in theaters. The first version was in color. Second version was in black and white. Saw that with Nick. Oh, yeah, with Nick and Rochelle. And hey Thomas, thanks for tuning in. And so, of course, we are covering Godzilla Minus One, and this, in my book, is the best Godzilla movie since the original in 1954.
I totally agree with you. It's epic, it's emotional, and it's so well done because the whole story behind it and the actors, it's phenomenal. Definitely one to watch.
He has returned. Yes.
Good
Wait, are you referring
one.
to? Are you referring to Godzilla or me? uh, but yes, this movie had so much going for it. I love everything about it, the story and the characters, especially the whole conflict that Shigeshima had. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. I'm terrible with certain Japanese names, like oh no, Shigeshima. Okay, I was pronouncing it right. Okay, so yeah, like there was this so it's clear from the start that this film, like one of the tones of it, one of the message of it has like a strong message about PTSD and survivor's guilt, because that's what he was going through after first encountering Godzilla and just doing nothing about it.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Just from that very first scene where you see him land the plane, you kind of realize something's not right here. Like he's obviously one of the fighters. Why is he there?
Mm-hmm.
And he's supposed to be repairing his aircraft, right? But they don't really.
Well, there's a bit more to it than that. He was a kamikaze pilot because this was World War II, or well,
Yeah,
just the end, right at the end of World War II. So he was a kamikaze pilot, like like was supposed to like go to like crash his plane into like I'm guessing like American U.S. personnel, like some military ships, like because that's what they did back then in that war. But he basically went AWOL because he was unwilling. He didn't want to just give his life, like that. So. And after even after all that, I'm just thinking he's just lucky that the government didn't take action against him, because in a lot of in most, if not all, militaries, that kind of desertion, that's punishable by death.
yeah, it is. I think he was in the right place at the right time. I know it's horrible to say, but because of everything that happened, the government didn't have time to go after him, did they? There was so much else that was going on. So, yeah,
Yep,
lucky
they
escape.
were. They were pretty much preoccupied with rebuilding Japan after the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, along with with Tokyo being destroyed. Oh, hey Tom, how's it going? Here,
Oh, yeah,
hoping you'll, yeah.
where are
Hey,
you? Come on.
yeah, hey, feel free to join us anytime, Tom. Just click the link. Yes. So, but yeah, that's I mean, what Shigeshima is was going through during that entire movie actually does have some realism to it, because like there are lots of cases of people who come home from war and have PTSD, survivor's guilt, all sorts of things. Like war, witnessing all this death, it has an effect on people.
100%. And I feel like that's something that's only recently been talked about over the past 25, maybe 30 years, that they really focus on the emotional effects and the comes from war. I really don't think movies focused on that before like the 90s. I don't remember any movies focusing on that. So, yeah, it's a good
Mhm.
thing that's come to light.
Oh yes. Yeah, it's not just Japan's military back then. That's every military. Like all of them, the personnel who go through this and then come home and they're just not the same.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. War
yeah,
changes people dramatically. It's awful. Can't even imagine.
yeah, I've even seen this being depicted from in film from time to time. Like one of the I think one of the most famous examples of that would be this. Yeah, Rambo. Yeah, and, like PTSD and like the effects the
Yeah.
war have on a man play a huge role in this film. Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, that's just one example.
What was one of the first films you watched that really traumatized you about war? Because for me, I watched Grave of the Fireflies, which is a Studio Ghibli or Ghibli film. And watching that film, I don't think I could ever watch that film again. I watched it once and it was just horrendous, like so bad. And of course, there's Schindler's
Uh,
List and there's The Pianist and there's all of that kind of film. So just kind of wondered what films you'd watch that really traumatized you.
um, trying to remember which country this from. I think it was yeah, it was actually a Russian film. It's something I actually saw while I was at the university when I was studying during one of my film classes. It was
Oh,
called Come and See.
okay. I haven't
Yeah,
seen
this
that.
yeah, it's a Russian film called Come and See, where a killer, this teenage boy finds a rifle and he's like drafted, like immediately drafted into the Russian forces against the Nazis, and
Oh, okay.
it shows basically everything, every darkest element in war he experiences. He witnesses some of the most horrific things imaginable, and that movie is a prime example of how war changes a man. It would there, or even, or in this case, changes. It could damage. It could just like have a terrible effect on kids. Like traumatizing them because the movie ended. One of the things that it ended was with Nazis burning people alive inside of a barn.
Oh my goodness.
No, no joke. It actually that actually does happen in the film.
That's horrendous. Oh my gosh. But anyway,
Yeah.
back to Godzilla Minus One. Try and keep it light. It's a very deep,
Right.
it's a very dark and deep topic, but we'll try and keep it.
It is, yes.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, but yeah, that's my take on like movies that had that was just that made me shocked. That no war movie has shocked me like Come and See.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
I
Oh
oh
man.
yeah, I saw it one time and one time was enough because that movie is burned into my memory forever.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. What did Tom say?
Oh, had a very draining day. Wait, if I could wake myself up some. Oh, come on. Okay, well, just have a
Okay.
coffee or 5 hour energy, whichever one works for you. Yeah, I mean, hey, that's what I do every once in a while. But yeah, just come on if you can, Tom. Yeah. So yeah, and as far as Godzilla Minus One, it shows a pretty dark depiction of in the beginning of how when he comes home to Tokyo, it's all in ruins. His neighbor's upset with him because he refused to like do the kamikaze mission that she believed would have made a difference, and he lost his parents. They died from the bombings on Tokyo, and it's just like man, just devastating effects of war shown right there.
Yeah, absolutely. I do like how it was written. So even though it was devastating,
Hmm.
they still show a lot of his relationships towards other people, towards the girl that he found and the women that he found with the girl. And there was still some Japanese humor in there. It's kind of like subtle humor that we probably in the Western world don't really see it as humor, but like in Japan, that would be humor and it's quite funny and they have little elements of that. So I really liked that. I thought that was a good input.
I can see that. Yes. And so he comes across a woman and a baby. Noriko was her name, and let's see, the baby's name was Akiko.
Ah,
And
yes, yeah.
yeah, so basically, Shigeshima was just having a trouble, moving forward in life, like wondering if he even deserved to survive from war. Again, the survivor's guilt. And
Yeah.
basically, those two people played an important role in his life after the war because they basically gave him to something to live for, a reason to keep going. Hey, Tom, what's up? How's it going? Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, I remember. So I watched this movie once. I was on the way to Japan. It was on the flight
Oh,
and I absolutely loved it. But this was in June, so I haven't seen it since June, but I would totally watch this film again, 100%.
uh,
Did he have nightmares, recurring nightmares from what he saw?
I believe he did. Shigeshima, I believe he did.
Yeah,
He had he did have nightmares like about being back on that island. He feels just the guilt of
yeah, the
letting,
guilt, wasn't it?
of letting all those men die.
Yeah,
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 it was just him and just like one other survivor. He would basically this island was a military base that was full of mechanics. Like military mechanics. And
mm,
let's see, the lead of them, what was his name? Tachibana. Yeah, along with Shigishama were the only survivors.
yeah,
Yeah, and this
yeah,
is before Godzilla was even mutated by the atomic bomb. Yeah, this
yeah,
yeah, like but even then he was still pretty powerful. He was still like even without the atomic breath, without the regeneration, Godzilla was still a force to be reckoned with. And even if Shigeshima had got under that gun, had not froze in terror, and ran off, I doubt that machine gun would have made that much of a difference.
yeah. I totally agree with you. I really liked how you could sense that panic because they obviously they'd never seen anything like this and they were just stunned at this monster being there. And I think they captured that really, really well, the panic and how he froze. And because you'd never know what you would do in that situation. Would you freeze up in fear? Would you attack? Would you flee? we,
Many
we,
people,
we just wouldn't know.
yeah, many people would.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
totally. So that scene was that was scary.
totally.
Yeah.
And yeah, you might be interested to know that Godzilla's roar, they actually played that over speakers on set to like really make their reactions like genuine.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I love how they didn't change his roar from they took the roar from the original film.
I recognized that. I thought it was the same raw. And what I really like that we haven't mentioned is that this entire film is black and white, and I think that elevates it 100%.
Oh, you saw it in the minus color version.
No, in black and white.
Yeah, that's what it is. Godzilla minus one minus color. That's what they called it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, is there a color version?
There is on Netflix. You could actually watch that on Netflix. They have both versions of it on there, and also you could dub it in English too, so you don't have to read
No
subtitles.
way.
You can. It's true.
I did not know this. Okay, so I've only seen the black and white version, and I thought it was amazing.
Oh yes, I've just seen both versions. Black and white actually it does have like gives that touch of like 1954 style of the way they did the movie back then. So
Yeah,
I
it
felt like
does.
that version was essential as well. Here, let me see. I'm pretty sure it's still on here. Let me see.
I had no
Yep,
idea.
yep, it's there.
Wow. Okay. Now I have to watch it again, but in color and make a comparison. I did not know that.
Oh yeah, here, yeah, they have both versions. This and the minus one,
Yeah,
minus
that's,
color.
that's what I remember. Mine is color. Ah,
Yeah, yeah.
epic.
So yeah, and yeah, like I said, on top of that, they also have the English dubbed, so you don't need the subtitles.
Ah, you see, yeah, I had subtitles.
Yeah, well, yeah, but
um, I have a question. Who did they get to dub over the actors? Were they any famous voiceovers or
Um,
anything? Or I'm
yeah,
not sure.
I never really looked into. I never really got a chance to look into that. Yeah, because the whole English dub was like a very more recent thing, right? Like, because like only in recent months have they put on put it my Godzilla Minus One on Netflix. I could take a look on here. So maybe they have it listed somewhere. God, uh, oh here.
Yeah,
Let's see. Because I'm wondering if it's only going to show just Japanese actors and actresses. Let me see. Nope, not seeing any information about it on here.
interesting. Yeah, I'll have to look into that. And I thought the music was incredible. It was so much suspense and so
Oh,
tense and
oh, it was.
harrowing music. Yeah.
Yeah, I like how during the climax of the film, like they played the original theme from 1954, like an updated version of it, like a much
Yeah.
clearer sounding one. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like, wow, this is definitely the the Godzilla of the modern time. Like,
Yeah.
I actually heard that the director of Godzilla 2014, like the one where where they were in Taylor Johnson,
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
the director of that, Gareth Edwards, he actually watched he actually watched Godzilla Minus One, and he's like, "Oh man, if only my Godzilla was more like that. That's actually Godzilla right there."
Yeah, I'm not surprised. This was a whole other level. I'm so it's very rare that this is very, very close, almost on par to the original. Like
Yes.
these two films are so similar, so good, so amazing, honestly.
Oh yeah. Oh, and Gareth Edwards was his name. I think I mixed his.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, I agree. I completely agree with you. And and also this film made history in cinema because this is actually the first Godzilla movie to ever be nominated and to ever win an Academy Award. And
I
that
know. I'm so proud of it.
Yeah, and that Academy won an Academy Award for Best Visual Effects, and I'm 100% with that Academy on this because when I watched the movie, that movie really impressed me with the way they managed to do all those visual effects, which look more genuine than most of our Hollywood films, and they managed to do that with with not with I think less than if I remember correctly, it was like less than $15 million. When you look at Hollywood, they throw on. Oh wait, here I want Nick here for this. Hey Nick,
Nick.
hey, is your mic on?
Oh, he's muted.
I don't know what happened, but for some reason it was muted.
Oh,
I don't
Hi,
know how
Nick.
that occurred.
yeah. Was supposed to be post-apocalyptic. In some sense, yeah, I can see that now.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were just Nick, you were joining us just in time. We were just talking about the visual effects of this film.
Oh yes,
Yeah, and how they managed to do though which this movie got won an Academy Award for, and they managed to do this with like less than 15 million, which is amazing because you look at most Hollywood films these days, which have a budget of like probably about well over $100 million that goes into the visual effects alone. But but Godzilla Minus One managed to do that in just a fraction. Like that's amazing.
that is. They
Yeah.
obviously were being smart with it.
Oh yeah. Like it
Yeah.
looked so like they were some of the best visual effects I've ever seen that brought Godzilla to life.
And
Definitely.
I think it was so real because there's so many special effects now that just look tacky or over the top, or it's just too much, isn't it? And you're just like, for goodness sake, I can't. It brings you out of the story because it's so ridiculous. But with
Yeah.
the special effects here, you really feel absorbed into it
Yep.
because they're not ridiculous, like it's very realistic.
Yes, that's right. And yeah, like it seems like Hollywood treats visual effects and CGI as the future for filmmaking over practical effects, but yeah, but it's like I think of visual effects being like they can be good if done right. The same thing way the practical effects can be good if done right. They have to.
Yeah. Yeah, one good example of this, right? Lord of the Rings versus the Hobbit movies. I find it really difficult to keep my attention in the Hobbit because of all the CGI and how unrealistic it is compared to Lord of the Rings. which is so tangible because so much of that is real sets, real places, locations, everybody dressed up, costumes, everything. So that I thought that was a good comparison because Lord of the Rings is so tangible, so real, so absorbing. And then The Hobbit, I was like, oh, disappointed. I'm like, it's all CGI,
Right.
basically.
Yeah. I mean, well, The Hobbit was not as terrible as I thought it would be, but because I'm thinking, oh man, how are they going to do like any better
Yeah.
than the Lord of the Rings trilogy? But it was. I thought the Hobbit trilogy was pretty good though, just for what it was. Even though it did, but you're right, Kate. It did have some flaws.
Yeah. I mean, it was just like, meh. Like, it was okay. Whereas Lord of the Rings is like the best thing ever. So, yeah.
Yep. Yep. I mean, it's one of my favorite things I've ever picked up in my collection.
Yes, I have exactly the same one.
Yep, the extended version.
Yes,
That's the way to watch it.
it is. You need a whole weekend. Just binge watch 3 extended films.
I know the whole
Right.
the whole trilogy that would take like, oh my god, that would take like 10 hours.
Yep.
Exactly.
Basically a whole thing.
Yeah, really. But seriously, well made films. Been like Peter Jackson, right man for the job.
100%. Like, I'm so, because even he said, Peter Jackson, he said he couldn't wait for somebody to make Lord of the Rings. He was super excited about the idea of it being a trilogy and a film. He never even imagined it was going to be him. And I'm so glad it was him. So
Oh,
yeah, that's so funny.
the man is gifted.
Well, hey, let's
Yeah.
not forget, because you said about the CGI and stuff. Well,
Mhm.
let's not forget, Don, I showed this to you, was that over 10 years ago, character Smog made an appearance, a guest appearance on Stephen Colbert's show.
I remember that.
You can find that on YouTube. I don't know if you've seen that, Kate, but Stephen Colbert apparently interviews Smog on his old show, The Colbert Report. It's
I
hilarious.
think I've seen clips of it, but I'm going to check it out just to make sure we're on the same
It's funny
page.
as hell.
Yeah, Benedict Cumberbatch. Yeah, he's just an amazing voice actor as he is playing like live characters. Yeah, Doctor Strange. Yeah, but
Yeah. He did The Grinch recently.
he did.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was
Ah,
just thinking, I was trying to think actually. I remember one of the things that he said was Smog on the Colbert Report episode was he said that himself a real dragon himself, not one of those cheap dragons from Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
oh my god. But yeah, Nick. So this film had like I really love how Godzilla Minus One just really went back to basics as far as like the whole message about war and about nuclear weapons. Because I love one of the greatest changes they made about Godzilla was the atomic breath. Like it like works as he fires that beam, it hits a certain spot, and then it explodes into like basically the same thing of like kind of effect as an atomic
I
bomb.
was going to say,
Like
yeah,
creates an atomic explosion.
bomb.
Yeah, it creates an atomic explosion, just like the atomic explosion that mutated Godzilla.
It's funny. I actually, in a way, kind of have considered that it's not even really his classic atomic breath anymore. It's almost like he has the ability to practically fire bombs instead.
Yeah, it does. It does feel like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, yeah,
And it also feels like there's no way of stopping him.
yeah. He feels
What can you
invincible. Like
do? Yeah.
yeah, because of that bomb that they mutated him, and like right after the war, and it shows that just briefly, like the effect it had on him when nuclear testing was going on the Bikini Atoll.
Yes.
Because yeah, so and hey, not only did it mutate Godzilla, but it also may or may not have caused the mutation of like deep sea life in the Bikini Atoll and causing them to create a civilization. One of those life forms living in pineapple.
I knew you were going to go there.
I knew you
I
were going to
knew
say
it. I was just waiting for Bikini
drop
Bottom.
the pineapple under the sea.
Yep. I mean, that is a real theory. People do believe that.
Yeah.
Hey, Chris, what's up?
What's up, Chris?
Thanks for tuning in. Yeah. So, but yeah, like it's just like amazing, like how they depicted Godzilla at first as just being a dinosaur that just was, yeah, what that would seemed like dangerous enough, but then that bomb mutated him into something much worse. And like not only was able to fire basically its own atomic blast, but also can now regenerate from anything that they throw at him, even if they did, like if their own weapons did have some kind of effect on him, he just regenerates like Deadpool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very much so.
yeah,
Yeah.
totally. And did so it's been since June since I watched it, but I remember they were analyzing. There was a lot of analysis to see where Godzilla was and how far away. What systems were they using again? I totally forgot.
Systems.
Was it like were they using like an earthquake scale or something? I don't remember now.
Oh, you
Was
mean
it
like seismographs?
Yeah, seismographs. Were they using those to
I think
detect?
I think that's one tool they were using. Yes.
Yeah, I don't remember now. But yeah, I just remember the sciencey lab bit and they were like trying to figure out stuff.
Right, because we again, this does take place during the late 1940s, so
Yeah,
technology was not,
a lot of big
obviously,
machines.
yeah, obviously technology was not advanced as it is now, which I'm pretty sure we would have much better technology for tracking him.
Drones. Yeah.
Drones. Yep. Don't forget the drones.
Yeah, we always go crazy with our drones.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm trying to find that one image. Oh, here, just found it. This one shot of this film where they were like firing they released a mine into Godzilla's mouth and they were trying to fire at it. Yeah, I love this shot, like right as he's pursuing them here. Uh, Add the scene and then maximize.
Yeah. Yeah. This was a pretty cool shot.
I've always loved this.
Wow. It's even scarier in color because I watched this in black and white, Nick, and I didn't even know there's a color version.
Yeah, I've seen the black and white version too.
I've seen both.
I still haven't seen the color version, but I was fortunate enough to see it when they had the black and white version up in theaters.
See, look how good that is. That's
Yeah,
Yeah.
so good.
it
It's
was
not,
it was very
yeah,
impressive. Like they made Godzilla look very menacing in this. Like
Yeah,
yeah.
I think that was their intention.
creepy. Yes, it was creepy because you look back at it's like obviously Godzilla started off as serious in the original Godzilla movies, like 1954. But there were like several after that where Godzilla got pretty silly. Like there were, let's see, like in, for example, let's see. Oh yeah, like Godzilla versus Space. I think that movie went the one where it took place in space. I believe he was like
Oh,
like he was
Godzilla
dancing.
versus Monster X.
Monster
Oh,
X,
excuse
yeah,
me,
he was
Monster Zero. Zero.
Monster Zero, yeah, where he was like just jumping and throwing his fist in the air,
Yeah, it
like
was
those
Invasion of the
poses.
also known as Invasion of the Astro Monster.
Yeah. Yeah, that and also his flying drop kick in Godzilla versus Megalon.
Megalon.
All
Yep.
this,
What?
all this silliness, but here it's like back to basics where he is a major threat. He is like just like looks so intimidating.
Yep.
Like they made him remade. They really remade him as a true monster. Like this was had a much more serious tone. I think out of all the Godzilla movies I've seen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember Shin Godzilla.
You showed that to me a
Oh,
couple years ago. I
yeah.
remember.
I did. Yep, I did. Still got it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was definitely just the whole tone of the film from the moment it starts, the music, everything. It's just like, oh, okay, like this is going to be heavy. This is going to be a deep film. And yeah, because there's quite a build up to seeing Godzilla as well.
Yes,
Um,
there is.
and it's just terrifying when you finally see him. And it does look realistic, totally.
Yep. Here, let me show. Yeah, that's true. Like this was like the best depiction of Godzilla. Here. Speaking of, here, I wanted to show you this. Like, I mentioned the drop kick. Here,
Oh yeah.
let me show you what I was talking about, Kate. Since you,
By the
this
as
is
he's putting that up, I put it this way: by the early 1970s, that's when Godzilla basically became almost very silly in nature, with the exception of, I would say, Godzilla versus Gigan, and also the very last movie, the original series, Terror of Mechagodzilla. Those were probably the only two that had a serious tone, but the
Yeah.
rest had kind of a silly tone to them.
Yep. Hey, Brexton, thanks for tuning in. You're just in time. We're about to show arguably Godzilla's silliest moment.
Oh.
Yeah, like showing just to give an idea of how it went from silly in the past to like what is now a much more serious tone. Here, let me just let's see, share screen. Here. There, wait. Add to scene. Okay, just to give you an idea, Kate. Here.
Yeah, it wasn't the second time.
Oh my goodness. What is that?
Yeah,
Well,
obviously.
it was also done in a way as an attempt to kind of have like some type of like almost kind of like a crossover between Godzilla and the Ultraman series. So that's why you see this robot, which it's not Ultraman, but it's a robot called Jet Jaguar.
Yes.
It reminds me of a 7-year-old boy playing with his figures, characters in his bedroom, and it's like drop kick Godzilla. And
Yeah, basically my nephews. Yeah.
yeah.
And that movie in particular wasn't even supposed to include Godzilla in the first place. It was supposed to just include Jet Jaguar fighting Megalon.
Let's see. Ooh, here, Brexton, Mothra, Jet Jaguar, Rodan. Ooh, good choices. Yeah,
Yep.
especially.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, I especially love Mothra. The queen of the monsters, right there.
Yep.
Oh, and Thomas is saying,
Which also, I don't know if you know that she was originally, so I had found out she was originally supposed to be in the original Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla film.
oh,
If you know it, she was supposed to be in it, but that was before they. That was when the movie was still in development, and it was actually a different plot entirely before they even brought invented Mechagodzilla. It was a different story entirely, and it was supposed to have Godzilla, Mothra, and Anguirus fighting another alien monster together, but that all got scrapped. Anguirus stayed, but it was all replaced with what's now Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla.
yes, and
Yeah.
they were featured pretty much in this Godzilla, the Giant Monsters All Out Attack.
Yeah.
Mothra and King Ghidorah, yes, and Baragon.
Baragon, yeah. I was gonna say, don't forget Baragon.
Yeah. Yeah, he actually, yeah. That's that's the thing. When I was little, renting all those Godzilla movies from Blockbuster back when that was a thing. Yeah, like I always thought Jet Jaguar really looked like an action figure. Like here, let me show you guys image just to give you an idea.
Yeah, I've got to see this.
Did you guys ever hear that originally, like I guess in the Japanese version or something like that, they actually said that Jet Jaguar really was supposed to be King Kong in a robot suit?
Oh Jesus. Okay, here it is.
What?
Yeah, that's Jet Jaguar.
What is that? Some kind of mashup Power Ranger?
Yeah, it kind of does have that like a Power Ranger kind of a feel to it. Now that you mention it.
Well, like I said, he's off of Japan's like other famous icon, Ultraman, and
he does it like Ultraman. Yeah.
So
that's where they basically. They also said too that they chose that design. I guess before they even made this movie, they were supposed to have like some type of drawing contest, like where each kid was allowed to draw their own version of a robot that they would kind of base it off Ultraman, and one of the kids won, and that became Jet Jaguar.
Right. So yeah, this was from the film. This is the only appearance that Jet Jaguar had in a Godzilla franchise. It was Godzilla versus Megalon, who was right here, the cockroach-looking thing. And so here we have Godzilla, Jet Jaguar, who go against Megalon and Gigan.
Oh, and look, Nick, you can get the costume from Amazon.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah. Hey, you could be that for Halloween next year.
Yeah, that would be so funny.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's got to be expensive as hell, though.
Yeah, let me catch up with the comments. Thomas saying his two favorites are Destroya and King Ghidorah. Oh, yes. Yeah, Godzilla versus Destroya is another favorite of mine. I really like that one.
Chris brought up Godzilla versus Sharknado.
Yeah. And
I don't
yes,
know if that would
I do
really
have
be
that as
much of
well.
a battle, to be honest with you.
I have a question. Do you guys have your keychains?
Oh yes, I still have mine. Hang on
I
one
have
second.
the keychain, but I don't have it with me right now.
Oh, that's okay. So, just backstory, I went to Japan. I went to the Godzilla official store. Obviously, he's an icon, and
Yep.
rightly so. And I got these two a Godzilla keychain. So
Nice.
cool.
It's modeled after the original from 1954.
It's so cute.
I love it. Yeah, thanks again for this, Kate.
Oh, of course. I had to get you guys something. You're like the OG
Yeah.
fans.
It's exactly Jeff Jarrett reminds me of that. And oh yeah, I had the Godzilla games. Mostly I played Destroy All Monsters Melee.
I still have my copy of that, believe it
Oh,
or not.
yeah. I forgot the games.
Which I think Which I think Jet Jaguar was originally supposed to be in that video game. He wasn't, but I know they later included him in some of the other games.
Yeah, I feel like we're due for another good Godzilla game. I mean,
It's
there.
been a long
Yeah.
time.
I feel like there's still potential. You know, like it has
Yeah.
potential to be a fighting game. I mean, we already have like a whole bunch of games on like the on the phone, like apps, but we can't get it on a console again.
There with some of the games, like I said, Jet Jaguar was among those that was supposed to be included in some of these games, but they had to scrap them out. In those cases, I mean, it wasn't Jet Jaguar was the only one that was like that. I mean, there were several monsters that were scheduled to originally appear in some of these games. But I even found out, I couldn't believe this either myself, that I think on one or two of those games, they were even going as far as including Gamera in the games. But of course, he was wrote out immediately because he's not. He was wrote out immediately because he's not. Even though he's a Japanese monster, he's not owned by Toho.
Yeah, and Toho and wait, I'm trying to remember which company owns
Daiei Motion Picture Company.
Daiei. Yeah, yeah, Toho and Daiei. People have been asking them to do a crossover with Godzilla and Gamera for decades now, but both those companies just can't seem to reach a compromise as to like who would win in a fight.
Yeah, they would say that. I remember hearing one. I remember one time Toho had approached Daiei and asked about making the crossover, but Daiei came back and said that they would only do it if Gamera would win. And of course, Toho disagreed with that, so it's been going back and forth. I mean, yes, it's true. Daiei made Gamera back in the 60s to originally rival the success of the Godzilla franchise. And yeah, so honestly, for well over, yeah, for six, it's hard to believe it. You know what? This year is Gamera's 60th anniversary, speaking of which.
It
So
is.
this basically means for 60 years, there's been a bitter rivalry between those two companies, between Toho Company Limited and Daiei Motion Picture Company.
Man, it's been 60 years since this.
Yes, it
Man,
is. But yeah,
wow.
there's been a bitter rivalry between those two film companies.
1965.
Oh.
They just cannot seem to agree on anything. Although in the original Gamera, they said originally the effects they wanted to use for Gamera, they actually did want to try and hire the same special effects artist that did the original Godzilla movies, but Daiei declined immediately for it. So once again, this just goes to show that there's this bitter rivalry between these two companies that Toho and Daiei they just cannot seem to agree on anything.
Oh yeah, you mentioned like special effects, right? I believe the main protagonist, Koichi Shigeshima, was like named after one of the creature effects artists for Godzilla from back in. Let's see, I believe it was Godzilla 1985 until Godzilla versus Destroyer. I
Okay,
believe.
yeah, I wouldn't say. I remember who the guy's name was, the original special E.G. Tessabura, I think, or something like that. But no, that wouldn't have been him then, because he died.
No.
He died in 1970 or
Right.
1971.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
But yeah, Nick. So yeah, this film like had had like a pretty felt really pretty real as far as like not just with with Godzilla causing all this devastation, but how Japan was trying to was making effort to recover from the war. Because remember, like this film was the title Godzilla Minus One is like the idea that the war, World War II had brought like Japan down to the level zero, the lowest point,
Yep.
and the havoc that Godzilla was creating was putting them below that in the negative, -1.
Right.
Yeah. So
Which makes a
the
lot of sense.
yeah, so like, so before Godzilla arrived, like the effort that Japan was trying to do to rebuild itself, felt it just felt pretty real to me. Like especially with Shigeshima, like getting a job with disposing of mines out in the sea and like trying to like do what he can to provide for trying to remember the names of those two that he meets, Nokiro and Akiko.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
basically, yeah. So basically, it's a government job, and it's amazing how the government never retaliated it or, like punished him for desertion during the war. Because we mentioned that
Right.
before earlier, Nick.
Yeah, I know. That's what I thought was unusual that he's never they never reprimand him for.
Or execute him because there are militaries that'll do that.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's definitely they do that definitely in Japan. I because they still to
Yeah.
this day they still have the death penalty.
I believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think most militaries do. I'm trying to remember if our military does. I know that it did in previous wars.
I think unless it's like a very serious or federal crime, I'm not entirely sure.
Hmm.
Yeah. I'm not sure on Japan's political, um, like the political side of things after the Second World War. I'm not sure if it changed. Something happened. So I think he just kind of got lucky and was like lost
Mhm.
amongst all the other things that were going on at the
Right.
time.
Yeah.
So
I think it's only. I think maybe it could just be that only just a handful of people knew about it, such
yeah,
as that it was just him and that. I think may have been just him and the head mechanic on that island, Tachibana.
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
exactly.
maybe that could be the reason. But
To
Yeah,
answer
yeah,
your
and
question, I just looked it up. Death penalty is a possible punishment for desertion in the U.S. military during wartime.
right. And Thomas, in response to your comment, it wasn't just because he didn't shoot Godzilla; it's because he abandoned his kamikaze mission.
Which that's considered desertion.
Yep.
yeah, it was awful. Um, I did just read that -1 was supposed to be black and white entirely, apart from Godzilla's blue glow and atomic ray, which was going to be in color. So he was supposed to look like this.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
wow! Look at that.
Yeah.
I'm kind of glad they didn't do that. I quite like
Yeah.
the what they went with, but yeah, that's interesting that that was a possibility.
Yeah, I like how when he does the atomic breath, because typically his dorsal plates glow when he's charging up the power. Yeah,
Yeah,
atomic power. I like how they shift as he's charging up now. I don't think they've ever done that in previous Godzilla movies.
no, that's new, isn't it? And I think that's more realistic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, that was a new thing. That's the first time, honestly, that they had done something with. They've done a change with his dorsal fins within several years. In fact, the last time anything had ever really been done was, believe it or not, was all the way back. Last time was back in 1955 when Godzilla Raids Again came out. To this day, that they did a change with that, but to this day, that was the only Godzilla movie that was ever made that did not feature Godzilla's spines glowing when he would fire his atomic breath.
yeah, his dorsal
Just
plates.
stay dull.
Yeah, the dorsal. That's right. The dorsal plates didn't glow up. That's right.
Because it was still an early it was a character, so they didn't know what else to do. They didn't know exactly what to do with the character at that time. Of course, it's different now, but that new idea where it's like they kind of glow almost one at a time, that's a smart idea.
Yeah, that's right. They've been like experimenting a whole lot with it over the past decade.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, I just thought of something. Go ahead, Don.
oh no, no, please. It's okay, please. I was just finished.
I just remembered I really liked the storyline of the woman, so his love interest, and the I guess she wasn't the biological mother of the girl that they
Mhm.
sort of adopted, but she was looking after her, wasn't
Right.
she?
Right, yeah,
Um,
Noriko was one of the survivors when
yeah,
the city was burned, but found Akiko. like from like
Yeah.
her mother before the mother died. So
Yeah. So
basically,
I love her story of Noriko and how you see how Japan is rebuilding itself through her jobs.
right.
Because she gets all these promotions, doesn't she? And she switches jobs and she tries different jobs and then she gets to like quite a high level and she's like the one properly working and having a career and stuff. And that was
That's
really interesting to see that.
that's you made a really good point there, Kate. Because think about it, because the fact that she's working, doing all these different jobs. Let's
Hmm.
think about it too. You look past history and stuff. That was something that must have, if this was big, that's because it takes place in the post World War II era. That is quite an incredible way to kind of put her in that type of position because you think about it in the late 1940s and 50s, like here in the United States, it was always believed that the husband was supposed to go to work while the wife stayed home and cleaned up. Women didn't really work as much as men did at that time. So it's just fascinating to think that in Japan, in this case, it was a totally different story over there, and that she was
Yeah.
kind of being almost like the muscle bound, if you will.
Well, yes, him and Shigeshima, was working in his government job, so both of them combined were able to provide more income and help raise
Yeah,
Akiko. Yeah.
Yeah. And you see their house change and you see the gifts that they buy her and you see how even the way she dresses, she was dressing more Western
Yeah.
because of that influence. And I thought that was so clever to tell a story through their eyes because you're not giving the audience the story, you're not shoving it down our throats. We're just
yeah.
seeing it. We're seeing it passively how they were rebuilding their lives basically and the Western influence that they had in Japan.
Hmm. Oh, here, hey Billy. Well, you're a little late, but it's okay. It's okay.
Hi, Billy.
Well, we're just getting started. So, and so, yeah, you do make a good point. Like how well like Western like culture like basically had spread like like in some way or another.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, the Americans, they brought in so much into Japan, even the products. I'm sure that's probably where a lot of their American products like came over with them and clothing, especially cigarettes,
Hmm.
alcohol, all of that stuff. Like they'd never even seen this stuff before. And yeah, how I guess it was exciting, but also worrying at the same time to see how a culture can change so quickly due
Yes.
to like their influence and stuff.
Yes.
That's also the basis too. I mean, like the Western culture. That actually, I learned this from several years ago. After World War II, the Japanese were such inspired by some of the Western culture, including like toys and whatnot, that's what later inspired them to develop their own toys and stuff. Which throughout the 1950s and into the early 60s, they made a lot of those toy products. You hear the old thing about like certainly something's like made in China. Yeah, in a way that was still kind of a current, but the Japanese back then really kind of had more of a kick at making a lot of toy products back then.
Hmm.
And I have to say, I feel like Japan as a culture and how people are their jobs. So they really, really are so hardworking. They put everything into their profession or their job. And I just feel like they excel in every way possible. Like they excel in their food, their electronics, their technology. Like it's so interesting to see how that as a culture, like how hardworking they are and how it just excels. It's like Sega, Mega Drive, and Nintendo, and it's just like they're just banging out all of this amazing technology, and it's still going. Like the
Yep.
technology they have there. I think they had satellite navigation in the 80s. We didn't really get that in the West till like late 90s, early 2000s. So yeah, it's like,
They're very advanced. I mean, they're just being
yeah.
smart, as I would put it. That's why I've always said a lot of times though, like if because not just the technology and stuff. I mean, I heard like about how clean it is over there and whatnot. I've always said that.
It's exceptional. Like there are people cleaning escalators. And
Wow.
like it's immaculate, and nobody, so there aren't many trash cans, bins,
I heard
whatever.
about that.
You Everybody takes their trash home, and that is just the epitome of respect. You don't trash places, you don't graffiti, you don't make a mess, you take it all home and you clean. And yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
That's what
Hey,
I've always said on a lot of cases. Like, if the world was coming to an end, I would certainly believe Japan. They would certainly be among one of the last ones standing because they know what they're doing.
yeah,
They would definitely be one of the last ones standing.
yeah, yeah. Seriously, I'm just thinking about it. Clean elevators and not no trash on the streets. I'm just like, yeah, if only that were the case here.
My, well, I said this before. I might have said this a long time ago, Kate. I don't know if I ever told you, but my sister and brother-in-law, they went out to Japan a couple of years ago. It was for
Oh
their
yeah,
honeymoon.
you mentioned it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was for their honeymoon at that time, and they said they gave a comparison because not only were they in Japan, they also went to Hong Kong. But for Hong Kong, though, that was not their trip. That was they ended up going to Hong Kong because that was their means of getting back to the United States. To fly
Oh,
back.
like a layover.
Yeah,
Oh,
layover. So they only got to see parts of Hong Kong for just a short while, and they definitely said too that it was definitely cleaner over in Japan and the United States. But when they went to Hong Kong, on the other hand, they said it was filthy over there. Like they said, there was like they didn't have as many trash cans either, but instead it was like the opposite. They just like throw like all their trash and stuff out in the streets. I mean, there was not like one occasion where they didn't see somebody pushing garbage out onto the streets. So it's
Oh
like,
no, I haven't been to Hong
oh,
Kong, so I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
Crazy.
But yeah, it was like if it's bad over here, it's like they just throw it out on the streets and they just hope that a garbage truck comes in. So again, they do not have as many trash cans either. They just push it out to almost make it like it's somebody else's problem.
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. So if you
Yeah,
think
that's
we're
crazy.
be fair, if you think it's bad over here, I mean it's there's some areas that are even worse over in that area.
So take your trash home, people. Okay, keep
Yeah.
the world clean.
Yes.
See, I've always to just say one. I just got one more thing to say about this, all about trash and stuff. That's why anytime, sometimes if I see like piece of paper or something, I try and pick it up and throw it because I've always heard even picking up a small piece of trash could make a difference. I mean,
Yeah, that's good.
I may have saved the entire planet just by picking up that piece of garbage.
Yeah. Here, Billy left a question here saying, Don, I asked you if this is a sequel, a prequel to the original, like since the original. It takes place in the 40s or 50s. Well, the original took place during the 50s, like a little while after the war. This is when all the nuclear testing was still going on in the Pacific. But yeah, this actually is not connected to any other Godzilla movie. This is just its own thing. It's basically started from scratch.
Basically,
Yeah.
kind of like a
Yeah,
reboot.
I would say like the original and this one are similar, but I would say that they're in different dimensions, like
Right. Yeah.
different time. Yeah, like same time, different dimensions because they're very, very similar.
Yes. I
Similar
mean, yeah,
story and
it does pay homage to other Godzilla movies, though.
yeah,
Like the scene where it showed like all the ships being destroyed, and like that was an homage to the original in 1954. Let's see. I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, the ending, like when Godzilla was destroyed. He was like disintegrated, and like atomic breath was coming out of certain parts of him. Clearly paying homage to giant monsters all out attack, and where there
yeah,
was nothing left but a beating heart that was capable of regenerating.
Yep.
So yeah,
yeah.
so in some ways it did connect to other Godzilla movies. Not
So, do you think this is a reboot then? Do you think we're going to see more of this?
I
They're
would think
talking
so.
about it. They
I would
are
think
Mm,
considering about make. That's why I said I think this is kind of more of a reboot.
could be a reboot then.
yeah,
Nice.
I think so. Yeah, because when you really think about it, Shin Godzilla was kind of a reboot, but I felt like maybe they just thought, maybe we could do a bit better than this. So this is their second attempt.
Their
Yeah, and they
goal,
knocked it out the park. Yeah.
Shin Godzilla originally was meant to be in a way kind of a movie of what happened if Godzilla attacked in the present era, and but
Right.
nobody, but they literally wanted to start off from scratch for that one, like literally not know, like we were not, like they were not supposed to know exactly what it is, like that it had a name or anything. It was in Shin Godzilla, he was kind of almost like a creature of unknown origin.
Right. Yeah, like Godzilla brought into it, like if it started off in modern times, in other words. Oh
Yeah,
here.
it was almost kind of like a kind of, yeah, like I said, it was, we weren't really supposed to know what or who he was, prior to the movie, so that's why they wanted to start from scratch. But like you said, Godzilla Minus One, I think, did a far better job doing that.
Yes. And Billy, yes, we discussed this right at the beginning of this that Godzilla Minus One is the first Godzilla movie to be nominated and to win an Academy Award.
And very well deserved,
Yes.
100%.
Oh yes, these visual effects are incredible. Yeah.
And apparently, is this true that it's the first Godzilla film in a decade?
There have been other Godzilla movies. And remember, we still got the ones here in America, the MonsterVerse
Mm,
Godzilla movies. So
Well,
okay.
it
yeah.
is the first Godzilla movie of the 2020s. Let's be honest, though.
Okay.
Actually, no, I take
No.
that back. I'm
Well,
sorry. Well, the
No.
first one for Japan, but you know what I
Oh
mean. I
yeah.
mean,
Well
last
yeah.
one was,
In Japan's in Toho's cinema, yeah.
yeah.
Oh, well, wait, but then again, Toho and Legendary do collaborate with the MonsterVerse. So
Well, I mean, I guess maybe like this would be the first one, like just specifically for Toho Company Limited. Didn't have anything to do with the MonsterVerse universe.
yeah, MonsterVerse will return. Yeah, I figured they would. Yeah,
ooh.
I wonder if they're gonna bring Millie Bobby Brown or Aaron Taylor Johnson back into it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, just an idea.
it's not a
I
bad
know.
idea.
I know. I mean, I can understand Millie Bobby Brown in this case. She had scheduling conflicts. She's finishing up Stranger Things. She just got married. All that
Yep.
going on. So, yeah,
She's probably going to be a lot more harder to get back because of her success.
right. I'm just wondering where she'll go from here in Stranger Things, like because this was like the biggest thing that she was known for. But yeah, I'm sure there'll be other great things down in the future.
Yeah.
Right.
Did you guys watch Enola Holmes?
Oh yeah, she was in that. Let's see. Oh, she was also in that dragon movie, Damsel. I still got to watch
Oh,
that.
yeah. I haven't seen that
Oh
yet.
yeah.
I
Mhm.
still got to watch that on Netflix. But yeah, as for this film, like there were some very devastating scenes. Like the most devastating scene of all is when Godzilla had traveled um, towards what was the name of that city? Um, Here. Oh yeah, it was Ginza. Ginza, where he traveled there, at which happened to be where Noriko had worked, and
Oh,
Shigishima was like
yeah.
going. Yeah, Shigishima was going there to try to get her out, but yeah, Godzilla was devastating the city. And then when those two were reunited, when Shigishima and Noriko were reunited, Godzilla launched his atomic breath again, like in response to the tanks firing at him, caused thousands of people to die, and Noriko was thought to be dead, like because she was caught in the blast, and
Yeah.
that furthered Shigishima's motivation to take Godzilla down.
Yeah.
Right.
She ended up in hospital, didn't she, though?
Yes, that was the
Yeah.
twist.
That was
Like,
a twist. Yeah.
yeah, they found out through a telegram that she had sent at the end of the film, and amazingly, like I think this also pays homage to the original as well, like the way she was shown her injury, like had an eye patch over, like or not eye patch, headband over her right eye,
Yeah.
the same eye that Dr. Sarazawa had an eye patch over in the original Godzilla.
Yep.
Yeah. I thought that too. Yeah. Just fun fact, Ginza is the, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm sure it's the business district in Tokyo. It's really amazing. Ginza, it has all of like the really
I,
crazy shopping district areas. All the business goes on there.
yeah, I think you're right. Here, I'm looking it up
Nice.
now. Oh, yeah, here it is. It says it's Tokyo's most famous upmarket shopping, dining, and entertainment district.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
very posh in
I'll
Ginza.
I'll I'll have to check that out if when I go to Japan.
Yeah, it's really
Hey,
cool.
Con, I don't know if you knew this too. I mean, like all this talk about different Godzilla films, and I know, of course, there was when you mentioned about MonsterVerse. I know they made that television series also.
Yeah.
Uh, what was that series called again?
Oh,
Tom would know if he was here. Tom watches it all the time.
I was about to say there were several Godzilla shows. Like,
No, the one that was recently made, like a year or so ago.
hmm, I'll look that up.
Oh,
Oh,
what's
here,
that one?
Billy's
It
making
was
it.
hang on a second. It
Yep,
was
accurate. Same
Monarch,
here.
Monarch Legacy of.
Oh, yes, on Apple TV. Okay, I didn't realize which Godzilla franchise you were talking about.
No, I was
Okay,
talking about Legacy of Monarch.
yeah,
I
Monarch.
did
That was on Apple
funny enough.
Plus.
I did
Okay.
find I found out funny enough when we were talking about Gamera earlier. Turns out he's got a TV show of his own now that was released 2 years ago called Gamera Rebirth.
I think I saw that listed somewhere. Yes.
Yeah, it's like the first
Um,
animated, like it's animated too, but yeah, it's supposed to be. So now Gamera's got his own TV series.
I thought you were talking about the one in the 90s, like early 90s.
No, not that series.
Yeah, I gotcha. But one thing I wanted to mention about Noriko, like when they found her in the hospital alive. You notice? I'm pretty sure some of you have noticed the that mysterious bruise that was quickly forming on her. The director actually did confirm that those were like Godzilla cells infused within her.
Hmm.
So I'm wondering how that will. I'm pretty sure that seems like a cliffhanger to me. I'm wondering how that will play out in the sequel, like what that will cause. I have no idea.
Yeah,
Oh, I definitely love this one more than New Empire, Billy.
Yeah, 100% this
No
one.
question. No question. No question.
It's a masterpiece.
Yeah, it truly is. This is the kind of Godzilla movie I would love to revisit. Yeah, and now I can whenever I want.
yep.
Yeah. Let's see.
Yeah, I have to
Oh,
watch
and
it in
also
color this time.
yes, and I like how
That makes
Shigeshima
two
like
of us. I got to see it in color
yeah.
too.
Yeah. Like you feel this tension like in the climax where Shigeshima like is going on this plane and about to fight off Godzilla with this as like a last resort if the plan doesn't work where they try to sink him and like rise him up again through tanks and try to get the pressure change to destroy him, which didn't work in the end, but then so he decided he's going to fly the plane at Godzilla, so implying that he was finally going to do what he had was originally supposed to do in the military during World War II, act as a kamikaze pilot, redeeming himself after
It was
not
redemption,
acting
wasn't it? Redemption for
redemption.
everything.
Yeah, and just when it seems like Shigeshima had given his life to stop Godzilla, there was a twist to it. They added a they added an ejector seat onto the plane, so it's like he would like in the because what happened earlier is that he had recruited um what was his name like the head technician on Odo Island who
Yeah, he actually
Yep.
tracked him down, didn't he?
yeah he tracked him down because yeah like Takibana yeah this is his name yeah like he had to like track him down but there was no address on file so instead he gets his attention by just basically trolling him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yukima trolled Takibana by writing letters that blaming Takibana for the deaths on Odo Island, knowing that it would upset him and then flush him out.
yeah. And then he
Yeah,
tells him like what he wants to do and how he's going to redeem himself and
yeah. And
and then it was his idea, wasn't it, to put in the ejector seats. He's like, you
yes,
can't do this. Like,
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. It's like yeah, but, you do this to redeem yourself and go on living. Don't let these deaths of like the people that you failed like don't let that destroy you. Like you need to live for the sake of others. Yeah.
I have to
So
say that whole sequence was so anime style, like proper Japan anime.
What?
Like, you've got to do this, bro. You've got to live. And he's like, I'm going to redeem myself and I'm going to destroy him. And I don't care if I die because I'm doing it for love and I'm doing it for redemption. And then the twist at the end, it was like so iconic anime. It really was.
it was incredible. Don, who's feeling the guilt of blaming Shigeshima? Shigeshima was feeling guilt all throughout Godzilla Minus One. That was like the biggest. Yeah, I mean, oh yeah. When you think about it, it's really Oppenheimer that created Godzilla.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Very
yeah,
much
yeah.
so.
Billy, you do make a good point. Yeah, Oppenheimer. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, yeah. He kind of knew what he was doing, though.
Oh
I
yeah.
was
I
gonna
mean,
say.
hey, speaking like another case of guilt. You know, when Oppenheimer created the atomic bomb and realized the devastation, the chaos, the deaths, the total, total devastation it would have created, that it did create and it would create if used again and again. He felt like he had spent the rest of his life just thinking, "What have I brought into this world?"
Right.
Yeah, but then if he didn't create that, somebody else would have. So it's that
Much more
eternal
negative. Yeah,
cycle,
by
right?
much more negative intention.
Right. And I gotta say, I love that Oppenheimer movie that came out the same year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
totally.
that was incredible. Still,
Killian Murphy just smashed it. He was amazing in it.
his best role so far, his best performance so far. Yeah. And let's see. And I felt bad, like in the ending, like when it really made the movie like heavily implied that Shigeshima was really gonna like die and taking Godzilla with him. I was still feeling bad for Akiko, the little girl who, but he finally, after struggling through with it throughout the movie, he finally was embracing her as his adoptive daughter.
Right.
Even if at first he was saying, "No, I'm not your father," he was finally realizing like that he had to live for her sake. When even after they thought that
Yeah.
even after he had thought that Noriko was dead.
Yeah, totally. That's a really heartwarming story about his adopted daughter. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it truly was. Like, yeah, like she just saw them as her parents. Like she doesn't even know that they're like her real parents are dead. Like they basically adopt her. They're basically her adopted family.
Yeah, 'cause she was just a
Right.
baby, wasn't she? She was a tiny baby. Because I remember the lady trying to feed her, and she didn't even know really how to feed the baby or anything. She had to get help from the neighbor, didn't she?
Yes, the neighbor who had was blaming Shigishama
Yeah.
for abandoning his mission, and yeah, like her children had died, and even I just like that even after that she was still willing to help the couple
Yeah.
Right.
with their baby.
Yeah. That whole community feeling was nice.
Yeah. So like trying to think of what I was gonna say. I did have a question now for you guys. Uh, let's see. I'm
So
just wondering if they could ever top a Godzilla movie after this. If they could actually make anything better than
I
this.
wonder.
I'd be very surprised. Yeah. This is definitely up there as I think, in my opinion, it is the best Godzilla film ever, even better than the original because it's so the storytelling they just elevated that and the visuals 100. So for me, 100% this is the best film for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
Oh man, yeah. Like I'm just like, oh man, like I just love all the homage it like also pays to like the original Godzilla. I mean, this is basically like you remember they like Nick. We were just discussing earlier that they used the original Godzilla theme song in like
Yeah,
the
I know that was impressive because even though this was its own movie, still it's nice that they really paid homage to it.
yes, and used the original Godzilla's roar.
Yep.
Yeah, one of the
You
most
know
iconic.
whether or not this movie has a connection with the original film, you still have to pay homage to it in some way, shape, or form.
Yes, it was definitely an homage, Robert, because yeah, like just like the unique way that that Godzilla's roar was originally created by using a leather glove against the strings of a double bass, and to think that it could actually create one of the most iconic sounds of all time in as far as cinema, anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, I was about to say, is everybody muted?
Yeah,
Nope.
sorry, I'm just having a discussion in the background. All good.
Oh, okay, okay. I was thinking, oh wait, are we having technical issues?
Nope, all good.
No,
Just
I was gonna say I'm pretty sure I didn't press the button, so I'm good.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, but I just like the whole idea that he was like also like with his job, like getting all those mines out, and the fact that there was like metallic mines, like or not metallic, magnetic mines. They would have attached themselves to ships, so they use like wooden ships to move too close to them very safely in order to disarm them or blow them up,
oh
blow the
yeah,
mines up. Yeah, so
terrifying.
yeah, it's like that. Yeah, it's like a government job that like he explained, there's significant risk. Like you could actually like get killed in this line of work, and
But it paid very well. I
yeah,
remember they got quite wealthy, didn't they, because of his job and
yes,
everything. So very well paid for high risk.
oh yes, like because yeah, there are so many high risk jobs out there. Like I actually looked up most dangerous job in America, and some people have different opinions on what they think the most dangerous job would be. Some people would say being a fireman. Some people will say being a cop. But apparently, the job that causes more casualties than any other career in this country is logging.
That's not surprising. I mean, you look back 100 years, like with lumberjacks and stuff like that. There were those accidents were quite common. Unfortunately, they even had something that was called a what's known as a widowmaker, because obviously a lumberjack would end up getting killed in an accident. If they were married, next thing you know, your wife is going to a funeral because she's a widow. Hence the name a widowmaker.
Right. Yeah. That's wow, man.
Yeah, I honestly thought the most dangerous job in my opinion. I didn't necessarily think it was just logging. I also thought of like people who work at steel mills too.
Uh, Let's see. Now, how about the world? Let's see. Most dangerous job in the world. Oh, and they're still saying logging. Let's see. Logging workers face many hazards, including falling trees, dangerous machinery, and remote work locations. Oh, yes, like because that's the thing. In a remote location, not that many hospitals or rescue are close by.
Yeah, well, again,
Yeah.
like you look back at 100 plus years when lumberjacks were around, because again, that was basically logging too. I mean, that was an extremely dangerous job, especially for those that had to work high areas too. I mean, like they were, building something, because there were often stories where a lumberjack fell, usually would fell off on a very high area to his death.
Crocodile egg gatherer.
What the
Is
hell?
that even
Crocodile
a job?
Oh wow. Yeah, that's. I was about to say that's not a thing.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, is that even a real thing?
Nope.
Yeah. Do you remember that really iconic photo taken in New York where it has the steel bar on the top of the skyscraper and there's all the workers and they're having lunch?
Oh yeah, I
And
remember
there's
this.
like not a
Yeah,
harness in sight. Like they would just do that without harnesses. And I'm like, I would
I've seen
freak
that.
out.
No way. You
Oh,
couldn't.
that's happened a few times also in Chicago. I've seen like those really
Yeah.
high up cranes are like several thousand feet up into the air,
Yeah, I
and
keep
you
hearing
just think
some.
to yourself,
Yeah,
one slip, and they are done. It's over for them.
I keep hearing somebody's notification alarm going off.
I
It's
think
my
that's
stupid
Nick.
phone. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah.
It's I'm trying to charge it up. The cord is not acting with me.
Oh. So that's what that is. Okay. All right. Well.
You're
Yeah,
very popular.
my
Yeah, I was about to say you're
phone
getting
will
like
not
about five per
cooperate.
second.
Is that your dating app?
No, no, no. I put
I'm
charge
Oh,
in the
joking.
phone.
oh,
That's it.
somebody finally decided to join Tinder.
No, I joined Tinder and I gave up that app a long time ago. So no, it's not any of that stuff at all.
No, that's not worth it. Don't.
Yeah, people don't use Tinder for like serious relationships. Anyway.
Well, it just doesn't work overall.
Hmm.
Yeah, just don't. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, like you couldn't pay me enough to be like on one of those tall buildings. Like we've got people in the city who are paid to wash the windows of skyscrapers, including the Sears Tower.
Oh
Yep.
my gosh,
Yeah,
no.
yeah, like one of the tallest building in Chicago, one of the tallest buildings in America, Sears Tower. Imagine being up on those high on those high rises.
If
And
that
I
was
just want to send
me,
a reminder to everybody since you said it. And yes, no matter what, it's always going to be the Sears Tower. Period. Not that other.
yeah. The
Yeah,
sister.
you call it Willis Tower, people are gonna look at you weird if you say that in Chicago.
Yeah, yeah. So if that were me cleaning the windows, I would just be cleaning my own vomit because I would just be like
Yeah.
throwing up the
Oh,
whole time because I hate
I
heights.
I
yeah,
saw a video, believe it or not. I mean, this was like from probably about over 15 plus years ago. Two window washers that were like I don't remember. I think it was somewhere in California. I think where they were cleaning up windows and they were like on one of the high rise buildings, and all of a sudden it got so windy out that the well, what are those things? What are those things that they use to get onto them that they wash with? What are they called? I guess.
trying to remember.
Oh, is that like the little bench thing
Yeah, yeah. It's like
that goes like up and down? Yeah, I don't know the
I
technical
think it's like
term,
I
but
think it's a scaffolding of some sort.
Oh,
yeah.
here,
Well,
imagine
all
this.
this wind was going. What's that? Oh yeah, yeah. The windows right there though, that you
Yeah,
can be up in the
your
air.
sky deck.
The sky deck.
Yep, nope, I'm good.
I mean, I've been in there, and like it's actually a lot safer than you would think. You know, people actually jump around in there. Glass never.
Nope.
It's called bulletproof plexiglass.
Yes, it is plexiglass, so it's strong. I've been in there.
Wow.
I heard.
I could
I heard
never do
there
that.
was one occasion though they had to shut it down because I think they said one of them had like a crack in it of some sort.
Oh,
That was like a
I
few
do
years
remember
ago.
that. Yes, yeah, that was a little while back, but yeah, they fixed it. And that was that. So
Well, anyways, there's this video like where these two guys are on the scaffolding, and it was really windy that day. And if you look, you might be able to find it on YouTube, where literally the scaffolding was being blown back and forth across a building, and literally the ends of it, because it kept hitting the ends of the scaffolding, like it actually shattered glass, like several windows. I mean,
Oh my
can't
goodness.
you can't necessarily see it in the video because it was it was shot from the ground. But according to witnesses like that were in the nearby building, they said there was sheer terror amongst these two window washers, and they literally had to hold on for dear life until firefighters arrived. They had to like literally grab onto the scaffolding like in a line to keep it in so they can get the two window washers out of the scaffolding. And here's the craziest part: after that whole accident, the window washers, they did not quit. They continued their job as window washers, even that after that whole terrifying scenario.
man,
Wow.
That
wow,
would have I would have quit immediately if that was me.
yeah,
Yeah, same.
I don't even know.
Yeah. It's good that you can handle heights, Thomas. I definitely can't. Nope.
Oh yeah, I'm guessing you wouldn't be coming with all of us to Six Flags Great America then.
Nope. I
Because
even
Especially
just
on
have to stand on a ladder, even if I'm like a quarter of the way up on a ladder, my legs start to go to jelly and I feel a
well,
bit
I guess
sick.
this means you won't be able to do a giant drop then.
Are you joking? I would literally die if I did that.
or this. Hold on, Raging Bull. Here,
No.
here, hang on. What is this? Okay, all right. Raging Bull. Oh, here I got this thing for you. Raging Bull, Six Flags, POV.
Oh yeah, I've
Here we
seen
go.
those.
Stupid ads.
Yeah, you gotta love those YouTube ads.
I gotta get YouTube Premium or something. Here. So yeah, Kate, here's what you would be dealing with if you went on the Raging Bull. Hang on.
Okay, let's have a look.
This okay here. Ed scene. Okay. This goes up to 200 feet.
Where
And
is
it
this?
goes.
Six
This is
Flags
Six
Great
Flags.
America.
It goes I mean, it looks fast, but it's actually going relatively slow as it's climbing up.
Yeah.
Is this in Chicago?
Oh,
It's in
Gurney. It's in the
Gurney.
outskirts.
Gurney. That's about 20
Okay.
minutes away. About 20 minutes away from me.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's up north.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, it goes over just over 200 feet up
Yep,
there.
it's going up and up and up, and now it's going to drop down. There we
Oh
go.
my goodness.
Through the tunnel.
There's also a brief tunnel too that you go in.
Why do people do this for fun?
Because it's thrilling. You got all that speed.
Yeah, but it's
I love
too
Raging.
thrilling. It's
Yeah,
too
Raging Bull.
much.
I love that ride.
So do I.
There was actually
Is
okay.
there-
I'm not gonna lie. I think I might have talked this story before, but when I was in high school, my paranormal club I had at the time, we did a special trip to go to Six Flags, and that was when it was Fright Fest. And I'll never forget. We went on a Friday evening, and like literally, like there was no lines like to get at some of these rides, including Raging Bull. I never would think in a million years that I would ride Raging Bull 3 times in a row. It
Wow.
was like
Nice.
that was almost like every person's desired dream.
Like your
Like-
poor organs. Your organs were probably floating
I was
out
only
of your body.
16 then, so my organs could handle it that, but I never would think in a million to go on it 3 times in a row in like less than a half hour. That was god, that was so much fun.
Just a
don't
fun
remember.
fact. We have this huge theme park in the UK called Alton Towers.
I've heard of that. Yep.
Okay, so there was this new ride that came out, and it was like the first one of its kind where it was just a massive drop. And my brother-in-law went on it with my sister. He got halfway down the drop, he threw up, and the stick went back all over everyone in the ride.
No.
He's never been on a ride since. He was like, nope, never
He
again.
was done.
Oh my
He was
god.
done. And
Okay,
the
I
poor
gotta
people
show you
behind
guys.
him.
Since
Yeah.
we're talking about rides, I gotta show you guys these pictures. Don, you're gonna remember these pictures.
Hey,
Kate, you
We're,
probably
we're
haven't
getting we're getting so off topic from the movie.
Yeah, this is well, hang in there though. It's a funny picture.
Okay.
Okay.
Make it quick.
Okay. Well, here I got to look for it. You guys keep talking while I'm looking for it.
Yeah, and also my cousin Nick. Yeah, like I remember last time, like well, actually not last time, the time before that when we went to Six Flags. Yeah, I believe it was Raging Bull. We went on there, and right when they actually take your picture on the ride to get your reaction, he decided to just lift his shirt up. So
What?
yeah, so
What?
Oh,
yeah,
come
I mean,
on.
this was a while back. It was like 8 years ago. So
Okay.
I mean, so he's much more mature now. He has to be. I mean, he just got married. But anyway, so yeah, he lifted his shirt up, and like we tried like see pictures, and like and I didn't even know this happened. I didn't know he did this until we got to the employees who like show you with the pictures, and we said, yeah, sir, we can't show this picture because one of your buddies here decided to be a clown and lift his shirt up. So yeah, we're not going to show that publicly. I'm like looking at Nick, and I'm like, you dumbass.
Yeah. I got the picture. I got one of the pictures. It's 2. So all this talk about Raging Bull, you guys will like this. Check this out. Here's my reaction. This was me back in 2017, and Tom McNicholas is in it too. I'm sure you're going to remember this picture, Don. But here's my reaction when I was in Raging Bull, Kate.
Oh, is this the picture? Is this the meme?
No, but
Oh, it's close to the meme.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, that's so funny. You were at the front.
yeah, we were at the front, so we were fortunate enough.
Wow. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
I'm even wearing my Ghost Conference shirt because it was Fright Fest we went.
Nice.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
And then I'll show you guys the other picture. This was taken.
Where's
this
the
was
picture that should be a meme? There's a
Yeah,
picture
yeah.
of you that should be a
I'll show
meme.
the other one, which is even funnier. Yep, here's the other. Okay, so and this was. Yeah, he does have. Oh, hey, Jeremy. Yeah, he does have a crazy look.
Voice it down.
And yeah, well, just wait till you see this one. Check this one out.
Okay. That's cool.
That's the meme. We need a meme for this.
And I'm screaming like this not only because as usual we were going so fast. We went during this was the first year when they had the Christmas theme of Six Flags Holiday in the Park. So I'm not only just like that because of just how fast we're going, but most importantly because it was in December. It was freezing outside. It was like 10 degrees or so. So all this wind, this wind is like
Oh
freezing
my god.
air is blowing right
Oh
on my face. It
no.
actually kind of hurt a little bit. So yeah, that's why I'm freaking out like that. And Tom just sent me that. Yeah,
Oh,
I was freezing. That's why I'm like that.
That's so funny.
oh man. But to sum this up, yeah, Godzilla Minus One, nothing compares to it as far as Godzilla movies go. This, I don't think anything could ever top it in the future. This is definitely the best Godzilla movie of all time.
Hands down. Do we tell
Shadow.
them whether or not it's a happy ending?
Well, wait, I mean, I went for speaking of endings. When Noriko was in the show in the hospital, like some people noticed, like there was that. Oh, I actually did mention this earlier. Like some people noticed that bruise forming. Yeah, like
Mm,
turns out that's Godzilla cells, and I'm just like, okay, how does that play into like what will happen in the next movie then if they actually do
yeah.
continue with this? And I believe Godzilla will come back. He's basically like Deadpool now. He'll regenerate or Wolverine, whichever one you like. But
Mm,
yeah, he can basically regenerate from a beating heart, as you can see. So yeah,
yeah.
I think there will be another one.
Let's hope. But I don't. I think it's going to be really hard to top this.
Oh yeah, it'll be a challenge for them. I'm not
Mm,
saying it's impossible to do a better sequel, like have a sequel that's better than the first film. Like there are
mm,
plenty of examples of better sequels, like Return of the King. I believe was the best is the best out of all three of these.
mm.
Let's see. Uh,
Nick's
oh here,
crying.
oh here, Terminator 2, better than the original.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yep. Let's see. Oh here, Road Warrior, better than the first Mad Max, and Fury Road, which I believe is the best out of all of them. So yeah, so good sequels do exist, but this will be tough to top Godzilla Minus One.
Yeah, that's very
I
true. But
was, I
definitely
was
worth
just thinking that
watching.
because I was just thinking about like with in this case with Tom, I was just thinking about like I wonder if any of the Rocky sequels were better than the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Well,
I think the sequels are better.
well, I did like Rocky Balboa 20 back in from 2006. I also like Creed. So those are technically sequels. So yeah, there are sequels that are up there with the original.
Yeah, I think so too.
Still mocking Sylvester Stallone's speech about it.
Tom can do it better than I can.
Because he's from Philly.
Yeah,
Well, also because there was a slight defect from when he was born, like that caused his his face to like or the side of his mouth to yeah, it's a little hard to explain.
yep.
Oh,
Oh.
oh hey Tom.
The Rocky
First three
movie.
Rocky movies were the best. Yes,
Mm,
I hated Rocky 5 though. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I hate 5.
Hey, they just kept bringing that bill. You couldn't concentrate.
It's like, come on, we don't want to see Rocky go like downhill. We want to see him triumph.
Yeah,
yeah. Do what he does best.
Yeah, like it just showed him just going through a downfall in part 5, that he wasn't that he to this for the rest of the franchise he never recovered from.
Yeah. So let's hope if there's a sequel, it's going to be just as good as this.
I think yeah. I was about to say if you're talking about Rocky, yeah, don't count on it because I think Sylvester Stallone is retired from the role.
yeah. I was
Oh,
gonna say
yeah.
he's
Yeah,
gone.
no.
But
Godzilla. Mm,
Godzilla Minus One. I'm hoping the sequel will be on par with this, if not better.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, I have high expectations after what I've seen in this one.
Yeah. Yeah. Same. Definitely.
Yes. So, yeah, good to be back.
Yay.
yeah.
This is episode 111.
Yep. Godzilla Minus One on 111.
There you go. That's perfect.
And I've been trying to figure out which one to cover next. I'm torn between two films. Want me to show you guys?
Yeah.
I already know one of them, but yeah.
Ah, Aliens. Since we covered the first
Ooh.
one, and yeah, we were talking about good sequels. This is a good sequel.
Yep.
So either this one or something more modern. Ah, since we've recently had Nosferatu, which was directed by Robert Eggers, Go back to some of his earlier work.
Oh, who's the actress in that? I think I've seen that.
Anya
That's
Taylor Joy. Anya Taylor Joy.
yeah,
Yes,
that's who it was.
that's a good film.
So
Creepy.
I'm torn between these two. So hey, let's let the fans decide. I'll put up a poll deciding
Yeah.
yeah, for the next few days, and then I'll announce which one we're covering. So, what do you guys think? Aliens or The Witch?
I'll be back in just a second. I got to think it over for a sec. I'll be right back.
Oh, hey, hang on. We're about to wrap this up here.
Well, no, I'm going to grab something too. I'm just going to be back in a second.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Let the fans decide, and then we can
Yeah.
decide.
Yeah. I'm sure a lot of us have seen Aliens. I'm sure majority of us, but I'm just hoping like if we go with The Witch, like a lot of people, a lot of us have seen it. Like I'm trying to wonder what stream service it would be available on, if for those who haven't seen it.
We
I'm
got
not
already
sure.
one vote. Jeremy Witch, Robert Aliens. This is a tough choice.
I know.
Mm,
Yeah. So, like I said, we're leaving it up to the viewers. So,
While we're waiting for it, I wanted to actually show this real quick. I put this in the chat, Don, real quick. I got a new book that came in earlier today. Did you see what I posted in the
we
chat?
did. Yeah, that's really cool.
oh, I haven't been on Facebook today.
While we're waiting for the responses, check this out. This is a book. It's called Leo Possessed
Oh,
by Stephen. It's illustrated by Stephen Gamble once again. So once again, the same illustrator that did the Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark books. I was amazed to have got this in great condition because this right here is an original copy from 1979.
Wow, that's so lucky.
Yeah, there were two other copies that were being sold, which they didn't. I heard they were not in the best shape, so I had to get the new one. And this will definitely be a book I'll be making an audiobook narration of sometime down the road. And
Oh,
it does, while not as many illustrations as like the Scary Stories books, it does have a number of illustrations in this book, and that looks just like something out of the Scary Stories trilogy. So definitely something I'm looking forward to recording sometime down the road.
that's awesome, Nick. Yeah,
Closer look, because again, I know it's a little bit far, but this is what it looks like.
that's really cool.
And this is also probably the first one I think Stephen Gamble worked on. You'll find this interesting, Kate. This was written in the UK. So this was probably one of his first
Oh,
kind of books that he wrote for a British author.
oh, okay. That is interesting. Yeah.
oh,
Dilly's Owen, yeah, she's from North Wales.
Yeah.
I see.
Oh.
Here, I almost got this set up. Hang on. Can you talk a little bit more about that, Nick? I'm almost finished.
Yeah. No, I mean, all I know is that, I mean, I have read at least part of the plot line, and it obviously does go with the name. It deals with a 13-year-old girl that's like, I think, possessed, I think, in this book, but I gotta read more into it. So it's definitely something that I can't wait to read. It's definitely
Hmm.
longer than the average book. It's about a good 160 pages, but that if I'm thinking correctly, this might be my first ever book I may record that's just one story total, unlike the other books where there was multiple stories involved.
Yeah, I was about to ask that if it was just one story or if it was multiple. So it's just
Yeah,
one story.
just one
Yeah.
story in this book. And
Nice.
here, actually, since Don's still setting this up, I'll just read this real quick then, just to give you guys a little preview of what the story is. It was 3:10 a.m. on the Forrest family's first morning at the old Georgian house on Rochester Square that they were awakened by eerie and uncontrollable sobbing that sounded as though it came from the attic. When they investigated, however, no one seemed to be there. At the time, as time went on, it was 13-year-old Lenora, known as Leo, who was the most disturbed and, in a sense, the most intrigued by the preternatural phenomenon.
Oh, here,
On
got
the
it.
threshold of adolescence, she felt engulfed by strong emotional feelings as her widowed mother became increasingly attracted to a neighbor, and her brother spent more and more time with his friend. Funny enough, Don, the guy's name is Don in this book too. Don,
Nice.
Leo found herself overwhelmed by both jealousy and loneliness, and in trying to cope with her problems, fears, and emotions derived some comfort from the ghostly from the ghostly presences she encountered. In the dramatic and exciting climax, Leo has to make a difficult decision, and in the process comes to accept the world and her place in it. This is a compulsively readable, penetrating, and skillfully crafted book that should provide an unusual and stimulating reading experience for young people. Stephen Gamble's atmospheric illustrations explode with excitement and enhance the drama of the book.
Nice.
Ooh.
It's all done. Here, let me show you guys what
Got it?
I'm.
Okay.
Yeah, here, let me show you guys what I'm thinking here. Share this. Here, let's maximize the screen. Okay, so this is now available on my Facebook page. Go vote now which movie we should cover next Tuesday on the Fear Fans podcast: Aliens or The Witch. You guys decide.
Nice.
So yeah, we're leaving it up to the viewers this time.
Yep.
I look forward to it. Nice.
I'm here. Yep. I'm good with either. I mean, I'm just trying to figure out which one people prefer for next week.
Yeah.
I'm also hoping we can get a few of the others back on at some point. I know, of course, it's January, which I know it's about that time. I know Joe has often said this is around his time he goes into hibernation, but
Wow.
you know, I got a feeling at some point soon we'll probably get everybody back, but we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, it's so yeah, that's why we haven't had as big groups, because it's been the middle of winter.
Right. I got
Yeah. And it's like the Christmas blues after Christmas.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's the other thing too. As soon as when I get off after this, I got to get back to work on taking down the Christmas decorations.
You're still doing that.
Yeah. Well, no, I started last night, and
I thought you started last week. Okay.
No, I kept it up till last night because yesterday was technically the last official day of the Christmas season, you know, by the church. So as soon as midnight hit on January 7th, I started going to work on getting the stuff. But I knew it was going to take at least a good 2 days, 3 days before I can take everything out. So that's why I still got the Christmas lights above, still red and green. But the actual changing lights, like the blue and white ones, as you guys saw, those have all been taken down.
Wow.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, it's sad that it's all got to come down, but
in
a couple of weeks I'll be putting the Valentine's Day stuff up soon.
Oh,
here,
that's cool. I hope you're okay, Robert. I hope it went well.
Yes,
yeah, I hope you're all right.
Well, hey, Robert, hey, don't worry about it. Under those circumstances, just focus on your recovery. You know, that's more important than being on the show. So you're good.
Definitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
So hope you make a swift recovery.
Yes. 100%.
Well soon.
Yes. All right, so that'll be it for this edition of the Fear Fans podcast. So good to be back. And like I said, go to my Facebook page, or sorry, not Facebook, my YouTube channel, and so you can vote for what we're going to be covering for next week. Will it be aliens? Will it be the witch? You decide.
Yep.
Come on, we need the votes. Come on.
Right. Give us all the votes. Go vote. This is the biggest decision since the president's election.
Yeah, it's crucial it's crucial. Everybody needs to vote. It's what makes a difference in America.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually was on I actually was on Xbox on PlayStation, like Call of Duty Black Ops 6, voicing Donald Trump, and like people were like, so Trump, what changes are you going to make once you get in office? I'm like,
okay, well, biggest change. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the name of President's Day to Donald J. Trump Day. I'm the president, so that day should be all about me. Okay, I'm just looking forward to hearing people say Happy Trump Day to each other. It's going to be great. Yep. Happy Trump Day to me.
I know it was so hard to just spew that nonsense and not laugh, because they were like dying, like they were laughing hysterically when I said that.
Oh, that's good.
Oh yeah, but yeah, so that's gonna be it for this episode of the Fear Fans podcast. So I had a lot of fun covering Godzilla Minus One. I'm sure the rest of you did as well. Yeah, so thanks, Kate. Thanks, Nick, for joining me on this. This was a great time.
Cool. It was great. Thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you next time.
See you next week. Yep.